Welcome back to Cloud Wars Live. This is the podcast that digs into the digital revolution and the extraordinary things happening in the business world as the cloud and other advanced technologies remake how businesses work, what customers expect, and drive a great deal of growth and innovation. We're delighted to have with us today a couple of executives who are going to talk about what's going on between SAP and financial services, and particularly insurance, and also a partner of SAP, SAP Fioneer, which was a spin-out from SAP about a year ago. So from SAP, we have Toni Tomic, who's a group vice president and global head of SAP's insurance business. And from SAP, we have SAP Fioneer, we have Mitch Bouchard, who is president of Americas. Gentlemen, good to see you.
Great to see you, Bob.
Good seeing you again, huh?
So, guys, it was great to see you. I think we met in San Francisco a couple of months ago, and I got a chance there to learn more about not just what SAP is doing in insurance and so on, but also the role that SAP Fioneer is playing in the interplay between your two companies. So could I ask, Toni, you first from the SAP perspective, and then Mitch from SAP Fioneer, could you talk a little bit about what the thinking was behind the formation of SAP Fioneer and how that's coming along? Toni?
Yeah, thanks, Bob. I think it's one of the most incredible stories we have in financial services and the software market, to be honest. Actually, almost 2 years ago, we've been asked by our board, what's the next big thing for financial services? And knowing that the market significantly is changing, knowing that only over the past 10 years, $100 billion of US dollars have been invested into fintech. There was a market created of worth $4 trillion US dollars. And we saw as well in the insurance space that you basically have as well new entrants that are entering that space. And for us to stay ahead of the competition and to continue the successful growth track we've been on, a different approach was needed to really ensure we keep up with all these changes in the market, and that we as well, on the other hand, accelerate that. So today we have close to 20,000 financial services customers, 5,600 insurance customers, and those solutions that are today with Fioneer have been grown over the past 2 decades, providing those solutions with proper roadmaps, with the perspective for cloud. That was our aim. And we wanted as well to leverage the good situation on the capital markets. And actually, we've safeguarded $600 million US dollars of investment to fuel this business, while at the same time it stays close on one hand to SAP. It's SAP Fioneer, it's our family. On one hand, it's as well we are shareholders of it, but on the other hand, as well accelerate this growth and respond as well to the challenges that the financial services institutions, but as well that the fintechs and insurtechs have today through that approach. And Mitch, you want to maybe outline this as well from a Fioneer perspective?
Yeah, I think that's a great point, Toni. I think, Bob, what's happening is how clients are innovating has changed, right? And, I think last time we talked, the big, huge program, once they get it done, they realize innovation isn't done. And what we're seeing is there's a lot more co-innovation taking place, and we needed to start behaving a little bit more like a fintech or else an insurtech company. Within SAP Fioneer, we have the independence to do that, right? We have the independence to co-invest with our clients, to co-innovate on solutions that we think we can pull back into our product, right? And improve the experience that the clients have with our product, but also we're in changing how we engage with our clients as well, right? And in engaging, we bring our labs closer to the clients, right? We do a little bit more discovery with them, and so it is a slightly different experience than you might have with SAP, which is a very powerful software company, right? But at the same time, we needed to expose our labs more directly to the clients. And in insurance, the rate of innovation is so rapid right now because it's there's a lot of change taking place in that industry, and that's not slowing down, right? So I think this is a great move for SAP and SAP Fioneer, and I think it's going to be a great move for our clients as well. So we're very excited about it.
Yeah, guys, it's fascinating to hear you describe this, right? Because you both talked about pace of change, closer to customers, new way of doing things, but also not breaking with the past and the tradition that SAP, the success it's had. I mean, Toni, those were some big numbers you threw around there. Like, it's 5,600 insurance clients on the books already. So it isn't that, you didn't have a presence. It's just there was a need to do new things in new ways.
Absolutely.
Yeah. So part of this, gentlemen, too, is I guess across the board, not just financial services or insurance, but across the board, SAP now wants to become very much a partner and ecosystem-led company. That's been part of the mission that's been described here. So SAP Fioneer is one of those partners. So talk a little bit first, Toni, then Mitch, about how SAP's insurance business plays with partners overall, and then what makes SAP Fioneer such a unique and important partner for you?
Yeah, we always tell kind of Fioneer as a partner. Yes, on one hand it is, on the other hand it's just our family, right? Kind of as stated, it's really a visionary aspect that we've taken into account, and kind of putting this approach together while offering all what Mitch has said, right? Speed, flexibility, contractual flexibility, right? Since we do not need to operate under IFRS 15, these are all ingredients how we kind of set up that approach, right? And to me, the best success stories in our industries are where we bring the intelligent enterprise, which we as SAP are having as a strategy, in which we are preaching all over the place, together. And that means that we have the best assets of SAP's partners together to deliver an end-to-end experience for our customers. I think kind of it very much differentiates from a true best-of-breed approach, because I would say we are the best of breed in terms of end-to-end industry processes. And Fioneer exactly helps us to do this. We just in Amsterdam at our recent event had a great presentation from Ergo Mobility Solutions, which is a digital attacker within the Munich Re Group that actually is using both components, right? The Fioneer components, but as well the SAP components together. And the power of SAP's visibility within 25 industries to deliver mobility services together with car manufacturing companies. They just recently announced their partnership with BMW, with Volvo, Great Wall Motors, where they think about providing mobility services instead of just a risk-based insurance policy, right? That's I think key, and I believe that Fioneer is going to help us on top of that to really get the power of business networks. SAP is a huge business network itself, but driving innovations with the banks and with the insurance companies, with the insurtechs and fintechs, I think that's another aspect to it. So I believe that really this is, as said, I've not seen one of our competitors taking that bold approach, because it's not only about Fioneer investing, it's as well at the same time SAP investing in the further verticalization across the portfolio which we have, which there is in solution areas like CX, in solution areas like human experience management and so on, which I believe if you look into human experience management, for example, today, it's often, if you are best of breed, a process from hire to retire. But with our solution set, we look into the onboarding, the offboarding, the licensing of agents, the managing of portfolios, and bringing total compensation management together, right? Even in that simple aspect. And the collaboration that we have amongst the two firms is actually facilitating that.
Yeah. So, Toni, part of the value of SAP Fioneer has not been to so much come in and displace what SAP is doing, but allowing more of what SAP has done to be brought to bear. Is that right?
Absolutely, Bob. We have a huge business case that we grow each other's businesses significantly, and I believe that this is already happening. We see that the ecosystem is really jumping on our approach. It's something new, but it's we see kind of that all the partners that we have, all the customers where we have conversations with are really actually admiring us for taking such an approach to innovate and to innovate fast at speed, be agile, and offer co-innovation as never before. Yeah.
Great. Mitch?
Yeah. So our first anniversary is next Wednesday, by the way. So it's 1 year next Wednesday, which is exciting. And I think what we have to remember is in the transition, what came over was a lot of SAP people came over from the labs and the services organization, right? And a lot of products, like a lot of intellectual property and software. And our partners implemented those solutions in the past, and they will continue to implement those solutions in the future, right? The only way we scale and continue to scale our business and, the SAP strategy around this is to continue to be engaged with those partners. What's a little bit unique about Fioneer is there's a tight relationship between us and the labs, right? And how we actually continue to build out the portfolio to support what the clients are looking for, to make sure that we are in sync from a release perspective and all that when it comes to the S4 core, because everything we build is being built on top of S4 and BTP, right? So our labs are really, tightly integrated together as we go to market. And then from, a partner go-to-model perspective, Toni and I meet with the partners together and we talk about what the strategy is. And there's, some things that Fioneer is more, focused on or, in driving with the partners. And then there's other things SAP is focused on. But at the end of the day, we're focused on, really two things in insurance from my perspective, which is driving the financial core, right? Driving finance and ESG transformations, number one. Then number two, driving core insurance transformations. And those two things, we are dependent on each other to make sure that that is successful. Because everything we've built is built on top of the SAP technology as well.
Yeah. So, Mitch and Toni, one of the things that's come along too, right? You've got an anniversary coming up, Mitch. Congrats on that. And I guess it was about 20 months ago that SAP rolled out RISE. So another fairly recent and significant innovation for the company here. Could you talk a little bit about how the RISE with SAP program affects clients in the insurance business and how it helps them? Because it seems like that business is changing probably as faster than any in the world right now. Toni, what do you think on that?
Yeah, I think we've seen a lot of, maybe just to explain why we did RISE, right? Because our strong belief was that just putting on-premise software on really an infrastructure and turning CapEx into OpEx might not be enough for a lot of the customers, right? Giving as well the change and the pace of change within the industry that we see today. I think that's one aspect, and we strongly believe that providing a business transformation as a service, and we all know that business transformation never ends, right? Once it's started, right, we are in this continuous change mode. But I think to have really a true value, and I think it's not only about the intelligent enterprise as such, but if you just look into an office of the CFO, that today's CFOs want to have in the cloud, right? They want to have a new target operating model. They want to have the flexibility that they get regulatory requirements delivered. They want to have powerful platforms that go end to end and take out at the same time costs, but provide unique and significant business value to their organization. And that's why just providing a solution there is not enough. We believe that thinking about the target operating model, working with our partners on the business transformation, making sure that business value is achieved by applying processes, standardizing processes that are in the cloud that have as well the flexibility then really to be applied, adopted, leveraging best practices. I think this is what we see in all these areas. And in our positioning and go-to-market, we obviously have an holistic approach on RISE, but then we deep dive into areas like Office of the CFO, Office of the Chief Sales Officer, CMO, Office of the CHRO, right? Looking into that and what are the benefits and holistic approaches from an end-to-end perspective in those different offices. And I definitely believe that that's game changing, and that's not leaving customers just like, well, we just move it over on any of the hyperscalers. We have a 20-30% cost case that we can make, and what do we do after that, right? So I think we want to have the question answered of what do we do after that answered up front, and then do the right things at a certain point in time, and actually executing upon a business transformation strategy. And I believe that in combination, the RISE construct in combination with the industry cloud applications that are delivered through our partners makes it so much more beneficial to our customers to go down that route, because they can apply actually from broader sources that can increase and optimize their processes. And therefore, the industry cloud approach that we took with SAP Fioneer is something very special to us, which actually stands behind our entire strategy in that domain.
Yeah, Toni, thanks. So I think the key point that comes out of that is you can't separate two things. Of one is, let's have a project over here that attempts to get the economic value of the cloud, and then let's have a separate project over here that it allows us to rebuild for the future, right? They've got to be fused.
Exactly. With the right business cases, value assessments, and so on. I mean, we have a huge department of industry value advisors that really are focused on industries, focusing on business processes to provide this business transformation as a service and the related business cases towards our customers.
Okay.
Good. Well, and on our side, Bob, like what we're laser focused on when it comes to RISE is building out the industry cloud solutions. Right now, we've put 3 up on the store, and we'll talk shortly about our platform strategy. But there will be more solutions that are, as we verticalize our stack, that start to become available on the SAP store as industry cloud solutions that integrate into the core that clients deploy on within RISE. So. We are the other side of the equation where clients can continue to innovate after they get the systems deployed as well.
Okay. And Toni and Mitch, I know you recently had a joint event in Amsterdam for the financial services industry. We want to talk about that, but first, just want to offer a word from our sponsor, BMC. Tell me, is your business operating to its fullest potential? Businesses on their A game are. BMC calls them autonomous digital enterprises. When technology and people can work together as one, businesses can achieve more and succeed more. You ready to get your business on its A game? Visit bmc.com/A game. So, gentlemen, well, how about this joint event in Amsterdam? Because I think I heard that one of the key points was the future of financial services industry. That's a pretty big topic. How did that go, and what were people asking you about?
So it was a great event. It was outstanding. It was the first event that SAP and SAP Fioneer hold. It was actually interesting because I think it's been a while since we had an event like this. So our partners were there, clients were there. It was extremely well attended. And it was just great to get everyone together again, because you realize that, these personal contacts have a lot to do with how innovation takes place. What were clients talking about? What we did is we announced our platform strategy from an SAP Fioneer perspective, right? So we came out and we announced the platforms that we're building all of our solutions on. So basically, we announced our finance and ESG platform, our core insurance platform, and our banking platform. And really what we're seeing, Bob, is we're seeing what I call the verticalization of solutions within each of these pillars. And over time, what you're going to see is, specific vertical solutions deployed within each one of these 3 different platforms from us. If we talk about insurance, I think that one of the, we have a claims system, but also we're looking at touchless claims as a process that we're looking at, right? If you look at in finance, there's a couple new solutions that the office of the CFO needs when it comes to insurance in North America. So I think that's a big announcement for us, and it provides clients with a vision, a view as to where we're taking the company, and that, what I call, X as a service will become very, very relevant and prevalent within our platform strategies. And this is why co-innovation becomes very important to us as well, because this is how we start building out all of the, X as a service for insurance within the insurance platform. Toni, I'll let you comment.
Yes, it was the first event we had. I was sitting at home because I had COVID, so that was a bit. And I just came from San Francisco, Bob. So at that time, which was a coincidence too. But I definitely believe that we wanted to put at this event our future strategy together with SAP Fioneer. I think it resonated very, very well. I think the announcement of the platform strategy was a fantastic thing, and I think that having a look at the entire event, I think we recognize basically that four things are relevant, right, across the entire event. And the first thing was really the need for business model innovation. We had a lot of companies really speaking purely about this, be it Bank of London, or be it Ergo Mobility Solutions or Discovery, which put business innovation and business model innovation at their front and center. The second aspect was all about sustainability. So I think there's no conversation nowadays where we do not touch sustainability. So Ergo Group provided their view on sustainability. They're rolling out currently a platform to 26 countries with our sustainability solutions from SAP. And I think then the third and fourth aspect, if I speak just from an insurance perspective, is really kind of how to apply all these new and great technologies to drive and support this business model innovation, be it AI or be it IoT and other capabilities that we see. And the last aspect is very much, and that's from a business perspective, focused on the human, right? We see in insurance the focus on the human in the B2C, in the retail business, instead of selling them risk, selling services to customers. And in the B2B environment, it is really about how to leverage business networks better, how to work with SAP differently than in the past. And these have been kind of my, let's say, four takeaways of the event, kind of where financial services and insurance of the future, especially, is going towards.
Yeah. And Toni, I sure agree with you that what you heard from your attendees and partners there at your event about business model innovation. If you don't start with that, I think businesses are always going to be sort of on that. Not the treadmill, but something like that, where you're just not going to be making progress. You're going to be fixing this, fixing that. But meanwhile, customers on the outside are saying, hey, that's all nice, but I need this. I need you to be doing new things for me. So great to hear those roundups from your event. Mitch, Toni, I'd like to ask you, you think, and Toni, you mentioned all these, remarkable new technologies and the impact they're starting to have on revising business models and so forth. Over the next couple of years, what do you think is going to be sort of the biggest tech moment for financial services industry? I mean, there's metaverse, there's sustainability, Toni, as you mentioned, cashless society. Mitch, I'd love to hear from you. How's all this going to play out?
Well, in the insurance industry, I think there's this ability to basically build products and solutions that get down to the individual now, right? And it's very, what's going to happen is going to be interesting as I feel there's this insurance is about risk management, right? Assessing the risk of a group, figuring out what the costs are. And at the end of the day, how do you, build a profitable business around the risk associated with a group? When you get down to an individual, I think it's going to become a little bit more around behavioral science, to be quite honest with you, right? Is what is the intersection that's going to take place between behavioral science and, how do you want to motivate and encourage specific behaviors so that you can reduce the risk? And whether that risk has to do with how you drive your car, where you park your car, what you eat, whether or not you smoke, do you exercise, right? How do you drive your boat? What lake? All these kinds of things, right? I think it's, it's interesting, because now we have all this technology, right, that can get down and scale down to, what does Mitch Bouchard do in his real life world, and what is his risk profile, right? And by the way, during COVID, he went from driving 20,000 kilometers a year down to 5, right? So what does that all mean? So I don't think we're there yet. But I think that's probably where they're, with AI and, a lot of these, being able to scale processing on, some of the supercomputers, I think that's where things are going to start to become quite interesting in the insurance business. The other thing that I see is with COVID, what ended up happening was a lot of the channels that insurance companies sold their products through were just basically shut down. Right. And, I've met with clients that are, full on trying to figure out, like, how do I eliminate the risk of there having to be a face-to-face interaction for me to actually provide an insurance product to an individual. Right. And it's as simple as, maybe the insurance company was a subsidiary of a bank and all of the insurance products were sold through the banking branches, right? And all of a sudden they're all shut down. And so what do? You just shut down your business? The answer is no. So, in a lot of these cases, companies that had actually built their whole business model around captive agents or around, having physical infrastructure, they are pivoting aggressively to eliminate that risk. So I think it's a really interesting time in the insurance space. And the only last thing I would add is, I think I'm fascinated by, BMW's announcement that they might charge you to heat your seats, based on a subscription basis, right? The real question is, insurance products are going to be things that we don't even really know we're subscribing to an insurance product, right? I think, over time we may find when we turn the key on our vehicle, they know who we are and, we'll be insured, right? Yeah. So there's all these interesting models when you kind of start looking at insurance that could start to evolve, and, how we get it delivered to us could change dramatically.
Hey, Mitch, I hadn't heard about that BMW plan to charge for seat heating. Does it vary according to your longitude? How far north you are?
Well, we are organizing protests in Canada as we speak because we are not for paying for our heated seats in cars.
Toni, what's your thoughts on what's going to be this big thing over the next couple of years?
I think Mitch mentioned already a lot. I mean, I couldn't describe it better. I think there's maybe what Mitch told at the end about that we do not know where insurance is embedded into. In the end, I believe that really the rise of new ecosystems that we see, be it in mobility, be it in wealth and health, be it in education. I mean, I liked one McKinsey study. I think it's already kind of 2 years old, where they state that there are going to be 12 new ecosystems accounting for 65 trillion, I think it is, additional revenues in the world. And none of those ecosystems was financial services. But you could see that within mobility, you have insurance embedded. You could see that within wealth management, you have insurance embedded. You could see that within health, you have insurance embedded. And I'm a strong believer of that. And we as a company, in fact, our entire business network strategy, we believe that the future of companies is to really become business networks and maintain business networks and connect their business networks with each other. I think that this is huge for insurance. I mean, I learned. I mean, when I did a kind of my first my first job was actually with an insurance agent, right? When I was kind of 16, he was my soccer coach. And we, in Germany, there's a program that if you are in the ninth class, you go for 4 weeks and you work somewhere, right? So, and he told me that insurance actually is covering kind of the processes of people from cradle to grave, right? And that's another aspect of it, right? Where Mitch said kind of the entire behavioral aspect, how you live your life. Are you really not only healthy, are you financially healthy, right? Are you really exercising? Are you? I mean, these are kind of things. These are kind of things that will play more and more a role. And I believe that kind of combining those trends and combining as well the aspects of business networks and using the power that we as a company can offer as SAP, because we work in 25 industries. I think that's unique, because only on our procurement platform, actually is the Amazon of the B2B business, where you have more than 5 million companies doing business with. So now just think about embedding credit risk insurance on some of those transactions, right? And this is the conversation actually we have with a lot of the companies today. SAP, we recognize your business network, but how can we embed ourselves, right, into it and generate new revenue streams? So.
Yeah. So Mitch and Toni, this has been great, and you've both offered some, terrific ideas. And I want to, as we wrap up, I'd like to give each of you, a final thought here about if you could share one message with, your clients or prospects in InsurTech and the insurance industry overall. What would that be? Mitch, can I start with you?
I think it'd be, the first thing would be, when we've talked to our clients about, what we're trying to do with SAP and SAP Fioneer, at the executive level, it resonates extremely well, right? I think, when they understand the investment SAP is making, the commitment they're making, when they understand the investment that, Fioneer is making in the solutions, they understand our approach. They understand specifically what we're doing for our labs in North America, right? Because we're building out labs in North America that speak specifically to the requirements of our clients in North America. It resonates extremely well. And I know there might be a little bit, the odd time, a little bit of confusion. What's this SAP and this SAP Fioneer thing, right? And I think my last message would be, engage with us to actually understand and the strategy and the plan and where we are taking the business over the next 3 to 4 years, because it is different, it is innovative, and it will produce great outcomes for our clients, right? If they when they engage with us. And then the last thing is the innovation is only accelerating, right? And that's why we've done this, is to make sure that we can innovate at the pace at which innovation is going to happen.
Yeah. Thanks, Mitch.
Yeah, there's not much more to say. Maybe just 3 final things. I think we as SAP will verticalize all of our portfolio towards industry and towards insurance, which we are doing. The second aspect is we deeply innovate. That's why we as SAP have done the transformation in terms of business model innovation and driving this together front and center with Fioneer and with other partners. And the third aspect is we'll focus on business model innovation and the business networks strategy of SAP. I think if customers are looking really for the best of breed in terms of end-to-end industry processes, I hope they talk to us.
Yeah. Well, great. Toni from the SAP insurance business, Mitch from SAP Fioneer, thanks so much. This was really interesting. And I think you gave everybody lots to think about in this fast changing world with rapidly evolving business models, more of a human touch, and the verticalization of processes and industries. So really great stuff, gentlemen. Thank you so much. Good to see you.
Thank you very much, Bob. Take care.
Folks, thanks to you for being with us here at Cloud Wars Live. Hope things are going very well for you, and we'll see you next time.